Hey everyone, this is Neil Napier here. Welcome to the bonus webinar number 5. Now today we'll go a little bit deeper into InstaSuite and I'll be connecting the dots. I'll be talking about how to essentially build your funnels by using the funnel builder, the membership site aspect of InstaSuite, as well as emails for autoresponders primarily. So we'll talk about that. Good to have everyone on the call. Nicholas and Hendrik as well. We've got a few more people coming in. We got you on the call as well, and I haven't seen any puffins in Finland, so can't say that I have. All right, good, good, good. Now, the recording for this is going to be available for this afterwards. What I am going to focus on today is more strategy. So this is not going to be as technical in nature because I have already covered that in quite a lot of detail beforehand. This is going to be more strategic about how to build your funnels around your membership courses and how to use emails to bring people back to the different pages that you create, stuff like that. Now, having said that, what would really help me is if I actually use case studies that belong to you as well. So if you have a particular page online right now, it could be within InstaSuite, outside of InstaSuite, but maybe you are trying to pitch a coaching course. If that's the case, link it to me and I will be happy to dissect that for you live on this webinar if you want, of course. If you don't, that is completely fine. I have a few examples of my own as well. So with that being said, let me see if there's any first flurry of questions. Nothing that stands out. Annette, Jessica, Glenna, good to have you on the call as well. All right, so before I got into this call, I decided that I will actually try and create a funnel in front of you, just visually. And of course, you can use the funnel builder part of the software to do that, but I wanted to go outside of it because this funnel will be a little bit bigger. In fact, let me just pause my screen for a second to see if I can find the outsourcing funnel that I have been building for the Insta series. So let me just see if I can quickly grab that, if I can find it. Because if I can, I want to show you why I built it the way I did it. And I'm going to give you a walkthrough of that and basically explain to you how does InstaSuite fit into each and every different part of that, which is kind of important. So now I'm just going to wait to see if that video loads up. If not, I'm going to open up a couple of other places where I can find it. Now, just know that you're not able to see that right now because I have paused the screen sharing because I'm just searching on my computer. I don't want you to be worried about what you see on the screen. Let's see. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Found it. Found it. Let me share my screen again. Perfect. So this is, in a real world, this is typically what a funnel looks like. I mean, it looks scary, it looks complicated, but trust me, it is anything but. I think if I kind of walk you through it step by step, you'll see how easy it is or how quickly it kind of makes sense and how it sticks together. Now, do this. While you're on the call, grab a pen and paper and build your own funnel with me as well. Okay, so if you don't already have a funnel, build that with me. Though I will say this, that if you haven't ever even created a landing page, don't worry about this. This already might be too advanced. But if you have created a landing page and if you're always thinking about what can I offer next or how can I build my funnel so that I can continue to sell people on the same offer over and over again, then keep watching because this is kind of something where most marketers, most product creators go wrong. So they create one product and they think there's only one way to sell it and they sell it once and then they move forward. I'm going to show you how you can pitch the same product every single week without appearing pushy or aggressive, right? So that's the focus today. And again, focus is on info products for most part. So whenever you start something, you need to have a traffic source, right? I have written down ads, but could be anything else you want as well. But the key thing is that traffic needs to feed into initially an opt-in page. You could drive them to a sales page as well, but I wouldn't recommend that for reasons that include the fact that sometimes you can't immediately sell people on an offer. Like I covered this in a training video we did a couple of days ago, not a training video, but a critique video I did for someone else. He was selling a $67 a month program, which was actually InstaSuite, and hoping people would buy it. Thing is, they might not. They might not immediately buy it because it's not something, sorry, that they have thought about using right away. It is something that they want to perhaps use in future, but if you just send someone to a sales page and say buy now, they might not buy it. So what you can use in between is like an opt-in page, or let's even put in a bridge page. So if you already have a customer, you can send them to an opt-in page or a bridge page. A bridge page is like a bonus page, which I'm sure you've seen as well. So, when you land on a page and I do, for example, a demo video of what you're going to see on the next page and I list out all the bonuses that you're going to get, that's a bridge page. I do that because I already know you. You already know me. If I didn't know you, I would use an opt-in page to also collect your email address. So that's the very first step that you have to have in any funnel. Like I said, if you try and send people straight to a sales page, that might not work so well. Of course, you can have different funnels as well, where you first send people to a blog, but even the blog should have an opt-in button on there. You might try and send people to, let's say, another site that you own, but you should always try and collect the email address in one way or another, if you can. Now, once you do that, once you send them to an opt-in page, the next thing you should do is deliver immediately what you promised. There are a few different ways in which people do it, and personally, I don't like it so much. So number one, I discussed this in another session, but if you are going to do an opt-in page, try and deliver a video or some text, but enough so that it can be absorbed in the next 10 minutes and without them going away. Because if you ask people to go back and check their email, sure, you will probably get them to confirm the email, but your chances of selling to them immediately would go down because you will lose their attention. You will ask them to go do something else. So you don't want that either. So what you want to do is you want to ideally deliver like a short video which gives like a punchy training. So it's like a thank you video that says, hey, thank you so much for opting in. I promise you 3 ways to do this, X, Y, Z, and I want to show you those right now. So method number 1, method number 2, method number 3. Now, if you thought that these 3 methods were easy, think about what you could do if you also could automate all of this. If you could automate all 3 methods and do this in the next 10 minutes, would that be beneficial for you? If so, continue watching this video. And then you go into your sales pitch, which is where I talked about a delayed buy button that shows up, right? So then you go into your sales pitch from that. So this way, not only have you collected a lead, but you might immediately make a sale, right? So if I just look at some numbers, and I'm going to do some very bad texts here, but if I look at some numbers, let's say you drive about 100 hits to this page, to the opt-in page. Let's say your opt-in rate is terrible, right? So even if it's terrible, you still get, say, about 40 leads. I think it's very feasible. I mean, if you work at it a little bit, you can get 50, 60, 70% even, but 40% is fine. We'll live with that, right? And then even if your conversions are not that good, even if you try and convert, but most people are not biting, but ideally by now, the offer is relevant to them, so they're interested. But let's say that 40 people land on this page, and out of this, let's say about 10% buy, or let's say only 5% buy immediately. So 5% of 40 is 2. That's immediate sale, right? It is a numbers game at the end of the day. But what you then also do is that you have a 5-part email follow-up series, right? So within that, you basically tell people that, hey, thank you. In case you missed it, here's the video again, right? And tomorrow I'm going to email you to tell you a bit more about method number 1. So watch out for my email. So then you email them, email number 1, you talk about method number 1, you soft pitch again the training, and then you do that again the day after, the day after, the day after. So you got 40 leads here. Even if you exhaust this a few times, you can easily raise that number from 2 to, let's say, 5. So you would have made 5 sales at, let's say, this price point, $19 a month, if that's what you're charging. It's not very high. It's feasible. You could sell something for one-time price as well if you want. But with this email series over the course of a week, you would have more than doubled your sales. And again, we're not looking at a lot of sales yet. We're really not looking at a lot of sales, right? So that's your first email series where you send people to a thank you page where you close them immediately on this training. Then you've still got, again, remember this equation, you've still got about, let's say, 35 people who haven't yet bought from you for whatever reason. Maybe they just don't like the offer, or maybe the price is the problem. Maybe they want to test it out first. So what you do is then you can immediately as well do that, of course, so you can have it later on. So once these emails exhaust, then you can follow up with people and you can put them in another email series. Okay, so you can put them in another email series. Well, that moved. Let me just move this back. Okay, there we go. So you can put them in another email series, and some of them are really good at advanced segmentation. InstaSuite is all right. It's not there yet. I am going to demo something else in another couple of days. I'll talk about this at the end of the session that will allow you to do this kind of automatic segmentation. Let's just say that. So I'm just going to put this here, and let's drag and drop this here. So let's say you run them through another 5 follow-up series where you pitch this time you pitched a trial, right? Just a $1 trial. So you pitched a $1 trial, which is right over there. And then once you do that, maybe, just maybe out of 35, another 5 people buy this. Again, I'm not saying it'll happen all the time, but maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but you have to try, right? So actually, I think, especially if you do this, you might actually get more bites. So I'm going to put that number up to 10, because I know that when we sell something at 67 a month, most often people don't buy, but they'll buy for $1 trial for like 14 days. So you could do the same thing. So you've raised your number here from nothing to 10. And then you can forget about this part. But let's say only half of them come through for the next payment. If that happens, you've basically doubled up your sales here, right? So in about 2 weeks' time, or let's say you're really slow, you're taking it slow, in about a month's time from when you open the tab, from 100 clicks that might have cost you, a click might have cost you $1, you made $190 back just within the first month. In the second month, recurring. Put that money back in and drive that again. Put that money back in and drive that again. And this usually, till this point, let me draw a line here. Till this point, if you just go from here to about here, you would have made your money back. Okay, let me just drag this back a little bit further. This is the point where you have, let's say, made your money back. That's cool. But if you add more things to the funnel, like I said here, then you have basically, let's say, approximately made 100% ROI. I think that's a fair estimate. So if I take this as well, here you just broke even. Here you have made, let's see, you've made 100% ROI. So 100% ROI. Now, I want you to involve a software component as well. And I know with InstaSuite you can't deliver a software and everything. Sure, that's a given, but I'm sure you can find a way to do that. You could do software, you could do coaching, whatever you want, but I'll say software. Because let me ask you this. Do you have access to a white label software? Yes or no? Do you have access to a white label software? Any that you can sell, you can give away, you have permission to basically do something with it. Yeah, James says yes, Nicholas says yes, Saeed, Glenna says yes as well. Now this is where you basically get a bonus. Think about it as a bonus, right? So this one, even if you were selling a white label software for, let's say, only $47, and again, I'm using the typical IM prices, which I think you can easily overcome. We have shown you, I mean, you purchased something for $497, right? So you can sell something here for $47, and so far, going through this, you've had 10 and 5 earlier, if you remember, 15 people going through this. And again, for upsells, typically we convert at 50% if the upsell is directly relevant. Even if it's not relevant, you can convert at 20%. Some people will still buy from you. So out of those 15 sales, you made 3 additional sales, right? So you have made 3 additional sales. That has meant that you've made about $141. Yeah. So again, this was, again, if I look at numbers, and this, to me, it all does come down to numbers. If you spent, let's say you were investing in Facebook ads, and you spent how much? For every click that you generated, you spend, let's say, about $1, which is quite feasible. If you do it via video and everything, if you do even simple ads, it's feasible, right? You spent $1. And after spending $1, here you've made your money back. So you made that $1 back, no profit, no loss. Here you made 100% ROI, so you made about $190. If you remember, within the first month, then it basically doubles up, then it's all bonus, right? But this is the big part where you've just added $141, so for every dollar spent, for every click that you drove, you've added another $1.41 here. which is golden, right? So if you look at a funnel like this, if I'm honest, this is how you should build a business. Use this, and again, I know James is here on the call, he says he doesn't like it when I say if I'm honest, because it means I'm not honest other times, but this time I am honest. So what I mean is that if you are truly building a business, I'm talking about truly building a business, then use this part of the funnel to test things out, to test the waters. If you're breaking even, you're doing well already. That's your goal here. Your goal here is not to make money. Then, if it's a membership site, for example, introduce trial, and you'll see that now you're making 100% ROI. Once you hit that level, you're doing fine. Move forward. Then, when you introduce another component in it, then you'll realize that's additional money. So the way I play it is like this. I spend $100 on this. Cool, I made $100 back. I can do it again next week. That's fine. That's maintenance. That's not growth, right? That's just maintenance. But if I take this money as well that I made, an additional $100, I can put that back in and basically double up, right? So I can, instead next week when I go in, instead of spending 100, I can spend 200. Great. This money that I make is the pocket money. It's the money that I take away back home to spend on things. I can use it to buy a new computer. I can use it to buy the holiday that I wanted, whatever it is I wanted. Never take away this money away from the business. Keep that money in there for as long as you can. This is the bonus money that really will kind of help you do things you want to do. Let's put it that way. This is just the money that you need to grow. So I don't want to teach you accounting, but to me, building a funnel is a little bit about doing math to make sure your business makes sense. If for some reason this number was from 100, instead of 100, it was 50%, that's fine. 50% ROI is okay as well. Of course, you won't grow as exponentially as you want, but you will still grow. You can still take some money back and invest it back in. But this money, do whatever you want with it. This is the money that pays for the business. Maybe you have a team as well. Maybe you have people working for you who create your course. If that's the case, then you can use this money to pay them. Right? So again, if you think about a business, people who do it wrong, number one, they can't even get a basic offer working with traffic. But people who do it right have a basic offer working, but every time they go back and invest money in to basically keep growing the leads. Because if you keep doing that, remember, your lead size will grow as well. So you'll grow 40, 80, 120, 160, 200. Within 6 months, you'll be up to, I don't know, 400 or something like that. 600, I think. So you will grow over time. But if you are serious about building something bigger, instead of just going and creating another offer, use the same offer, but continue growing it with more traffic. So this is where the growth part comes in. And everything after that, like I said, is bonus. It's candy. You can treat yourself if you want to. That's how I would recommend you build a business. That's how I would recommend you use a funnel to essentially sell a training product, a pre-recorded one. You could even do it so that you choose to sell it for a low price for now, but in future, you can ramp up the price. But when you're selling it for low price, then you say, okay, I only have a few modules. Remember, that's exactly what we did with InstaSeries. I didn't have everything in place. People still bought it. Some of you might have bought it, even though everything is not in place, because you know that the value that is already there is good. So you can do the same thing. You can raise some money that way, put it back into traffic, and then continue to grow like that. And again, I always recommend recurring. Of course, you could do one time as well. That's fine. It's entirely up to you. With one time, you can make your money back even faster. You can reach this point faster. You can reach this point even faster. But that's up to you. That's completely your call. So build a funnel. Simple funnel. It does not need to be complicated in the beginning. Focus on the one offer, and then continue to sell it via trial. If you're unable to sell it immediately, via follow-up emails. Then, I know I haven't come to questions yet, I will later. Then, let's say you're exhausted with 2 weeks, right? So you've done about 2 weeks worth of emails here, and maybe, so far, maybe 25 people haven't still bought it, right? So I'll kind of move this aside for now. Let's see if I can just move this aside. Okay, that's not connected properly. So let's bring this here. Okay, so let's say you still want to sell this course. Of course, I mean, if you have created something, you still have 25 people that might be interested in it, but maybe for some reason you haven't found the trigger. So what I tend to do is I do follow-up funnels, follow-up emails. So I typically set up 1 or 2 weeks worth of autoresponder series, but here's what you could do. Let me just copy and paste this and I can show it to you quickly what this kind of new series would look like. So let's do this. I think I've really messed up the arrows here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the arrows are really messed up. Okay, we'll just make do. Then with this one, it connects with this. Okay. Then in this case, maybe you want to figure out why they haven't purchased it, right? So maybe you do an autoresponder series with a quiz. I'm not talking about a quiz inside the membership, but generally a quiz or a survey rather. I think that's a better word, right? So you do an autoresponder series with survey. And here's what's going to happen. You're going to send the first email and you're going to say, hey, I've noticed that you still haven't purchased this thing. And I had a few questions about, what I could do to deliver more value to you. So question number 1, why didn't you get it? Make it subjective if you want. Question number 2, what else would you like to learn about this? Question number 3, is there anything else you want to tell me that would help you basically make a buying decision today? What's holding you back? That final thing. So again, I mean, work them however you would, but here's what's going to happen. You're going to write that first email, then you're going to write a second and third, and then you'll start sending them. And you'll realize that people are actually telling you why they didn't buy. Maybe once out of every 20 people, you'll hear back from them saying, oh, I didn't buy because, the price was too high, or I didn't buy because it didn't cover this specific area. So next time you can add that. But if their concerns are not genuine concerns, if they're just maybe they missed something, then that could become part of your autoresponder series. So you'll basically say, hey, it's interesting, Tim contacted me yesterday. And again, it could be autoresponder series. No one has to know Tim contacted you a year ago. So Tim contacted me yesterday asking if this training also covers this. Well, it didn't used to, but recently we've added a new module or new lesson that goes in depth into how to use this. So if this is what's been holding you back, you really need to go and check it right now. You really need to go and get access to it right now. So with this, what's going to happen is that over that course of, let's say a few days, for example, a week's worth of emails, you will make another sale or more. I mean, remember, you have 25 people going through this for now. When you build your list, when you continue to build your list, you'll have even more. Remember that. So you have 25 people going through this. And again, the arrows are screwed. There we go. Okay. So what's going to happen is that this is, again, offer with different angle. Right? So there you might get another, let's say, 3 people buying as well. Max 3, right? I mean, still, because they've seen the offer, now you're convincing them 3 more people will buy. When you're done with this, you put them through another series, right? You put them through another series where you find another way to sell it to them. Maybe you basically tell them about all the additional bonus modules you've added, maybe introduce scarcity, maybe talk about price changes, whatever you want. And this way, you don't have to build this all immediately, by the way. So just because I'm showing you this funnel doesn't mean you have to go and copy this or you have to go and do this, all of this right now, otherwise it won't work. You can just start with this, which I think is simple enough. When you have started making your money back, I mean, this one's easy, right? Doing a trial is easy. But when you have started making your money back, then you introduce a trial element as well and basically see your sales double just with that. Then you extend it even more and extend it even more. And eventually you'll come to a point where you just want to add these people back to a broadcast because they have seen all your emails and maybe they haven't purchased, in which case do whatever you want to with them. You might have 10 people left in the end out of these initial 40 that haven't purchased at least one time. I mean, what happens if someone cancels? If someone cancels, you can reach out to them, try and downsell them to a lower package, maybe give them a one-time price, up to you. So there are many ways to basically make money in the funnel. You just have to get people through the door here. That's the key thing. Now, let me go and see if you have questions. And if you have any suggestions, opinions, please also get them coming, and I'll answer them as well. And Alvin, I hope you can help me with some questions as well. Don't see many answered at the moment. Okay, let's see. Hendrik says, it used to sound hectic. This is not so hard to put together. Exactly. I'm not asking you to do everything here. All I'm asking is do this, and within a week, you will know whether or not it's working. Within a week, you'll know whether or not it's bearing fruit. Ben's asking, do you have any good physical product funnel examples? I don't actually, Ben, I'll be honest with you. That's one area of business that I haven't ventured into yet. I want to, but it's just too time consuming to do too many things. So I guess once I finish my PhD, I will do that. But no, I haven't done any physical product funnels. I know some people have good funnels though in different Facebook groups. I've seen people doing free shipping, free plus shipping and handling, and then like $1 trial for membership as well. If it's like some kind of oil that you get delivered every month, they've done that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, so yeah, Nicholas says, don't wait for perfect funnel. Exactly, don't. I mean, just start somewhere. Just start anywhere. I don't want to see a funnel from you. I want to see a landing page from you where you're getting people to opt in, and then another landing page where you're getting people to buy something from you. That's all I need, really. I mean, you don't need more to make money. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying, including me. So yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay, how do you make one client go from one set of follow-up emails to another after they did buy the promoted product to not oversell them on the same email list emails? So you can't do that, Hendrik, with InstaSuite. As I mentioned, InstaSuite is not as advanced at the moment where you can move people from one list to the other based on their buying behavior. I would like to do that, and I mean, that's my goal, that I want to get the Insta mailer aspect of it, which is like the list builder aspect of it, so advanced that we can compete with some of the better tools out there. Right? I mean, of course, we still won't be the same as Aweber or GetResponse because they have 4 or 5 years of development going in. But our goal is that, yes, that's one of the things I want to see as well, automatically subscribing and unsubscribing people from one list to the other. So yeah, that's something that we do plan to do in development. James is asking how much of this can be done right now in IS. James, okay. So you can do the opt-in page and bridge page and all that. You can do thank you page and delayed offer. You can do the 5 times follow-up emails. You can do the no trial. You can do this one as well, but as I just mentioned, there's no way to move people from one list to the other after they purchase. So that's something you will have to manually handle for now. You can only add people to a new list. You can't remove them from an old list automatically based on their behavior. So yeah. You can't do a survey with InstaSuite. It's not built for that either, and you can't deliver like a software via InstaSuite. I mean, you can deliver a download, but no kind of licensing. Ideally, how many follow-up emails you should send? Jessica, very, very good question. It depends on the price of your product, I think. It depends on how educated your audience is about it. I covered this in the previous session where I talked about the 5 stages of buyer behavior, where they are unaware, I think it was like problem aware, solution aware, product aware, something like that. So you can look through those 5 steps again, but minimum, I would say 5, minimum, absolute minimum 5. I would say minimum spread over a week. You could do longer as well, but at least do a week's worth of follow-up with them. The longer you do, of course, the longer you can extend your autoresponder series. But I usually, so what I like to do, and I haven't done it as much in past because it's just been a bit chaotic, but what I like to do always is have 30 days worth of emails in. Why? Because that also alleviates the pressure of trying to come up with new things to sell, right? So when a new lead joins into my business, again, like I said, I don't do this all the time, but within JobRack, we do that. Within the main IM business, we don't. But within JobRack, when someone signs up with us, they get an autoresponder series spread over 15 days, then another one kicks in. It's more like a follow-up, I guess. It doesn't really depend on their buyer behavior because they can buy the same thing from us over and over again. So it's a different thing. It's a different way we sell. So yeah. Yep, Hendrik says we work with what we have, no excuses. Exactly, like I said, Hendrik, we have already used the components of InstaSuite to offer you InstaSuite, more or less. We have already used InstaSuite to sell something else, and it always ties together. I mean, if it doesn't, there are workarounds. You can integrate with other applications, and you can always get it to work like that. InstaSuite eventually will be an all-encompassing thing, but it might not still do everything. It might not wash your dishes. Okay. Where do we find the $1 to $3 opt-ins? Just launched in the weight loss field, paying $7.50 using pixels on the thank you page. Walter, I must say that I haven't used too many pixels myself. I think Alvin's more of an expert when it comes to Facebook ads. But if you're asking about the cost, you really have to optimize. Number one, I'm not promising $1 to $3 opt-ins. I am promising, well, I'm talking about clicks, which I think Alvin would agree as well that you can get clicks for quite cheap, depending on how resourceful you are. It's not going to happen overnight. If it's not happening with you, work with someone for whom, who is already generating leads at that price point. That's what I would say. I mean, I'll tell you this, that the campaigns that we ran, for example, if you were running campaigns for an opt-in page, we would get a lead for $2, $2.50 in the IM market, which actually is quite expensive compared to others because of how crowded it is. But if I wanted to get people on a webinar, I was even paying $10 at a time. And that's a bad advertisement, So it can get a little bit expensive in that as well. You really just have to tweak, you really just have to work at it. I mean, Facebook ads is just another business altogether. Let me just say that. It's just another thing altogether. It's a beast in itself. I have done a lot of them, and I think we are able to generate leads at a good price. But still, if I had, a little bit more cash to invest in someone else, I would hire them. Like I know people who are charging $6,000 a month to run ads for you. That's too much for me to pay to someone else. So I try and do everything in-house. But yeah, I mean, if I had $6,000 a month lying around, sure, they can take that. They can take another $20,000 and run ads for me every month. That's fine. So it depends. Okay, Jessica, all the old webinars are in the tutorials page. So if you look at the tutorials page within InstaSuite, let me just show you where that is. Tutorials, all the webinars are listed there. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So no, Holger, like I said, my forte isn't Facebook ads. It's more of what Alvin does. I would like to do it more, but like I said, because of time constraints, I haven't really been able to invest a lot in. I recently spent $2,000 on a course by Dan Henry, but even though I went through it, I haven't actually implemented a lot of it because I haven't had the time. So it really comes down to, managing everything. It's tough. I mean, I'm not saying by any means it's easy. And if you don't want to do Facebook ads, do something else, right? I see a lot of people on Facebook these days that say, I have this great method that's doing this, getting these results. If you want to know more, comment I'm in underneath, and people comment I'm in, and they send them a sales page, a little bit of sales pitch. So you can do that as well. I mean, there are various ways to make money online. Ads is the fastest way to get up and running and see whether or not a funnel is working, but it's not by any means the only way. It is the fastest way though. Just remember that, because if I showed you this funnel, if you wanted to test things out, if you try content marketing, it would take you months to even see this. But if you try, ads, you can easily spend, like, let's say $50, $100, drive that traffic and see whether or not you're making that back. If you're not, then you know that something is wrong, which is why I also broke this down a little bit, by the way. So if you're not getting 40% opt-in, you know that's the problem. And then after that, if you're not getting at least 5 sales on that, you know what the problem is. It's the sales page, it's the offer. So try something else, try something different. So that's always important when you are building something out. This will take a week, 2 weeks, but like I said, you can even do it like in one go altogether. So if you do it in all go, what's going to happen is you spend $100, immediately you get, like I mentioned, about 40 opt-ins, and out of that, maybe you only get 5% sales, which is, I think, again 2. Maybe you get another 3 no thank you $1 trial things. So you get like $38 and $3 to $41, and maybe you get just 1 sale from all of this. So another 47, so $88. So you wouldn't make enough money back immediately. We actually go into loss on day 1, but over 7 days you'll make your money back. Over 2 weeks you'll make profit, and over a month you would have made good profit that you can use to spend and do whatever you want to do. while still growing your business. So think about it like that. Business is always an investment. If someone tells you otherwise, they're lying. You either invest in tools, you invest in coaching, you invest in traffic. I always recommend, though, I think traffic is the most important thing. So once you have the tools, once you have the knowledge, then the next thing you need is traffic. Start executing, start getting results, start testing things out. All right. Hendrik, what is the fastest way to check that your funnel system works from start to end? Do you have to buy your own product service to see if it works correctly? Hendrik, yes. I mean, yes, definitely. So I'll tell you this as well. Whenever we sell something, I swear we check it 5 times. So let's say we were selling a new product like InstaSuite. Then what would happen is I would ask Alvin to do some testing. So first of all, the developer will test. When he has set up all the integrations, he'll test to make sure that the access is coming through. That's the first test. Second test goes through to Alvin, where he tests it one by one. Every product in the funnel we can buy and so on, it works. Then when he's done with that, I'll get on a call with him and I'll ask him to show me that it works. And then we test it together. And then I say, okay, let's also check the emails. Have I got an email from the autoresponder? Have I got a webinar registration, stuff like that? And then we check that. If something is broken, we have to test again. So testing, unfortunately, is something that I always recommend doing. And I'll be honest here as well that we've got a few support tickets sometimes where they say, oh, I pushed my funnel live and it was for a client and it's not working as expected. Like, what's going wrong? Like, it was the first person who tried to buy, who couldn't buy. And I tell them, why didn't you do a test purchase? They say, oh, but it's supposed to work right out of the gate. It is supposed to work, 100%. But if it doesn't, and you push it to a client, it's just as much your fault as it is ours. So I always recommend, especially if you're doing stuff for others, please test it before you take it to them, because it is embarrassing if it doesn't work. Now, would you run paid ads for an opt-in for a free training that in turn offer an upsell at the end of the free training? Jessica, 100%, that's exactly what I would recommend. So again, I want you to keep the paid training short though. I mean, I don't know about your audience, but I don't have the time or patience to watch, video longer than 5 minutes unless it's comedy. Then sure, I'll watch it, or action movie. But if you are doing some kind of free training, please make it concise. Again, try and understand this as well. People don't expect the world for free. I mean, real customers don't expect the world for free. So if you promise them something free, they're not expecting a free members area with 20 videos already put in. They are expecting something tangible, something they can use in their business, in their life, in their relationships right away. So asking them to go through 20 trainings before they can get something out of it is a bit too much. So for when it comes to free product, make it as concise and as punchy as possible, as impactful as possible. Then you can offer them something at the end of it. All right? Cool. Excellent, says Jessica. So this is just, this is a more non-technical kind of method of joining the dots. I want to show you something else as well. This is, let's say, if you have your own training, if you have your own product. Some people don't, and that's completely fine. I mean, some people don't do this so they can create video after video training. They don't want to do that. That's not their core focus, and that's completely fine. Some people are just inherently good at driving traffic. I mean, I know Holger, for example, said he generated 500 leads within 2 days. So that's something that he's really good at. So, immediately, if you are looking for money as well, instead of asking you to do this, I would say take this out and promote an affiliate product. Ideally, something that's recurring as well, because then that will continue to pay you money, even if you're not consistently selling. So you can still have an opt-in page, you can still deliver training, but then after that, instead of trying to sell your own product, you can sell someone else's. And this is something I've used in the past as well. So if I just go and put this here, let me just say someone else's product. Right? So this is something you can do as well. If you don't have the time to create your own product, that's what's holding you back right now. I have a workaround as well. Find a similar product that you want to promote and promote the heck out of that. Promote that as much as you can. And then look at your numbers. after that. If you are making, well, you're not going to make your money back here, right? Because you're losing immediately 50%, let's say, to the vendor. So you're only making 50% back. That's a given. I mean, if that happens already, by the way, if you are already making 50% of your money back, that's a good model. I know it doesn't look like it, but if it was your own, that would be a good model. So anything above 50% that you make back is great. So you drive 100 people and 40 opt in, and then out of that, still, let's say, only 2 buy immediately. And maybe over a week, let's say 5 people buy. If that happens, remember, instead of making, $85 a month, you're making now $42 a month, which is still okay. It's fine. I mean, it's not great, but it's fine. Because number one, it will add up month after month. Number two, you know the funnel works. Then you can build your own. So if you are more inclined towards driving traffic, which I know many people are, it's risky, but it's also fun. If that's where you're inclined, you can actually then drive people to another product. And if that sells well, either continue doing that if it's a good model for you, or if you then want to create your own, then create your own being inspired by that. So again, I'll repeat this one more time. If you don't have a product yet, and if that is holding you back, don't let that hold you back. Simply promote someone else's product. Long term, don't do this. Of course, long term, because then this falls apart because you don't really have control over the funnel. You can't really upsell them to a software afterwards. So there are those issues. But if not having a product is your problem, and if you want to start tomorrow, do this. Build your business like this. Questions? Keep them coming. Great idea, says Nicholas. Perfect. All right, random question. When you pay for traffic, is there a sweet spot where when you buy more ads, it starts to decrease ROI and you can upscale and go crazy when ROI works as a system? So Hendrik, I'll let Alvin kind of answer that question as well because it's more practical. But I will say this, that sometimes ads that work for a short time stop working. And then they start working again afterwards. There's no way to predict with precise information how an ad or a funnel is going to go. 1 week it's profitable, next week maybe it's not, maybe it's less profitable. It really depends, but you have to look at things over the long term. So they're different, statistically speaking, the different numbers people throw out there. They say, okay, look at it over 1,000 impressions to get statistical viability or something like that. So there are all these different terms, and you have to think about it like that. And when we pay for traffic, for example, and again, like I said, Alvin's kind of more inclined to answer that better. All we're looking at, and I know I could be doing it better, but all I'm looking at is, are we making profit or not? Because if you're not, then change something. Then we start to look back and see, where's the problem? Is the problem because we're not converting? In which case, change the sales page. Is the problem that we're not generating enough clicks? In which case, change the ad. Where exactly is the issue? So again, if you're more logical, if you're more methodical, more than I am, you can really build something like this, and you can break down step by step and see where things are going wrong. I don't know if that helps, Henrik. Yeah, the truth is always worth more than gold, definitely. Okay, Eric. Okay, Eric, no problem. And I apologize about, so Eric is saying, I understand the webinars are an inconvenient time. Unfortunately, I couldn't fit it to everyone. This is already 10 p.m. plus for me, so I go to bed soon. But you can still watch the replays, I hope, and still ask any questions you have. And I apologize that the webinar is at a more conducive time. Okay, any insight about selling consulting, coaching services rather than info product? Yes, definitely. Now, I have in past sold mentoring programs which start at, and I think I told a couple of people already about this in the group, which start at $2,000 plus there's a percentage as well within the company based on the revenue. I don't have too many students doing this, but I have sold them in past. What I would recommend for those is that as soon as you start raising the price, you have to start qualifying people. So qualification is a process where you ask them questions, and there are questions that will help you understand whether they can pay, whether they're a good fit, if you're also taking percentage, whether they're honest, loyal, ethical, stuff like this, if you're putting a name on it as well. So in that case, the opt-in page, I mean, I would still recommend you to collect as many leads as you can. Because if the first page that you're putting them to is that, okay, this is like super exclusive and only enter if you're really ready for it, your opt-in rate is going to be down very, very low. You don't want that. Instead, what you want is to be able to still collect a lot of leads, but on the next step, when you deliver the thank you video. So James, if I was in your position, this is what I would do, and this is what I have done in past as well, is I've delivered an opt-in page about, I basically ask people to opt in to get my launch checklist, 108 steps to a perfect product launch. They sign up, and then I do like a short video saying, okay, the list is really long, I can't cover it here, but I can tell you that it can be divided into these 6 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's why they're important. Then again, 5-minute video, and then tell them that typically, I launch products and we do X amount of money every year. And now I'm looking to work with students who can take the same strategies that I have and implement in their business. But here's the problem. I can't take everyone on board. This is not a coaching program. This is not, this is a one-on-one program. I'm very selective. It costs, I tell them up front, it costs more than, let's say, $5,000 a month or whatever your cost is. So if you're interested, you can book a call with me. Please start by going through this button below. They click on it, takes them to an external page where they can answer a few questions. They can book a call. If I choose to then not work with them already based on their questions, I can just say no. I mean, I'm sorry, but if they're only making $0 a month, if they're making nothing, I can't really ask them to pay me $5,000 a month. It's not fair, it's not nice. So I would just say no. But for others, yeah, I'll get on a call with them, and maybe 1 out of every 4 people I can close, and that's great. So it is a high price consulting funnel or coaching funnel, one-on-one, even in a group, is or can be done differently. Don't do it via emails because you lose that personal touch. Pre-qualify as much as you can. I mean, it's also like dating, right? When you date someone, you try and be upfront with them about things like, are we going to be exclusive? Do I want kids if we get married? How many kids I want, where do I want to live, how I see life. You ask all these things on the first, second, or third date. I mean, hopefully you do if you're serious about it. And it's the same way for when it comes to high ticket. You need to ask all these questions in advance. You need to erase any objections they have in advance. So that's important. That's what I would do, James. So again, I mean, the funnel is not much different. I guess it's a bit smaller, but the focus there more is on getting them on a one-on-one call with you as much as possible. Okay. All right. Okay. James says pure gold. Thank you. No problem, James. Any other questions I can answer today, please let me know. Like I said, today was more strategic call. It was more kind of bringing everything together. And I hope after this, you do have more clarity on how to proceed. And I really, really hope nothing is holding you back for this, because if it is, then I haven't done a good enough job. To me, my goal always is imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. Just get something done, get it out of the door. Give it to me for critique. I'll be happy to give you my feedback on it. Even if not, at least you would have tried it and failed. It's much better than not having tried at all. And it's I sound like a cliched book. But let's see. Have you ever tried this to sell coupons for real services or products? Okay, Nicholas, when you say real services or products, you mean like Domino's or, I don't know, real estate or something like that. Am I right? Yep. No, I haven't. And I haven't worked with any client either who has sold any kind of coupons or such. So no, I can't say that, but I know people have used funnels in past to do that, and you can do it too. I mean, all I would say is that when you have someone's attention, and it kind of sounds wrong saying this, when you have someone's attention, try and get the money as soon as you can without being a greedy person. So try and get them to commit to you, to buy from you, or to give you money as soon as you can. So even if you're giving a coupon, make sure that coupon's only valid for the next 5 minutes. Make sure it's a coupon for which they have to call immediately, right? So let's say if your funnel was something like you were, Domino's employed you, they hired you, and they said that, you have to generate 50 calls for us in 1 day within this area. You can say, okay, give me a discount code. You agree with them on that, and you get people to basically sign up to a discount code valid only tonight. They sign up, and say, okay, you only have 5 minutes to use this coupon code. Call this number right now, tell them Nicola sent you, and use this coupon code. They call up, use the coupon code. Domino's gets paid, you get paid, they get their pizza. So introduce, especially when you're doing coupons, for example, introduce as much scarcity as you can. Emails are pointless when you're doing coupons. I mean, sure, you can maybe use it in future, but honestly, if I'm hungry for Domino's right now, and if you email me one day later asking if I'm still hungry, I'll unsubscribe immediately. Sure, you can still try, but I'll unsubscribe immediately. So what you want to do is you want to sell something right then and there for them. Because also, I will say this, for those that are selling physical products is actually much easier than selling digital products. Why? Because they're more based on impulse. They're more of an impulse buy. You see something which is like the perfect egg cutter that you've never seen before, or just put your egg in and you get the egg completely peeled out. And you're like, wow, this is a godsend. I'll use this. Never, but you still buy it because it's an impulse buy. I mean, I have purchased products from Facebook ads. More often I've done physical product purchase than digital product purchase, because it's an impulse buy. There's scarcity, there is the coolness factor, everything looks awesome right then and there, so you buy it. It's the same thing with walking into McDonald's or Burger King and looking at all the burgers, and they look so tempting, but when you get it, it's squished and it looks bad, but it looked good in the picture. So physical products are easier, but what I would say is that introduce as much scarcity as you can. And sometimes the scarcity can be small as well. Let's say if your course is $19 per month. What you can do is you can introduce it and you can say that it's going to be $20 a month next time you land on this page. For now, it's 19. Now, there is a way to do that. Not just within InstaSuite, within anything, right? So you tell people that, okay, right now, till the timer hits 0, it's $19 a month. When you come back to this, it's going to be higher. It's going to be $22 a month. So the way to do that is set up 2 buy buttons, one for 19, one for 22. And this is very technical, and I can't even show you this because it's so technical. But you can have a script in place where if someone lands on your page for the second time based on their cookies, based on their IP address, then you replace one button and you show the other. So this is real scarcity, right? If they still really want to get the product, they can contact you and they can say, okay, I still want it for 19. I'm sorry, I didn't believe you when you told me it would be expensive. Can I still get it? Then it's up to you. But there are these advanced ways of doing it. Again, too much to go into right now, but all I'm saying is use scarcity. Yep. Ben says you can add tripwires, lower price products for physical products as well, lower price products first for physical products. Exactly. I mean, like I said, the oil thing that I saw was like you can get this oil for $6, and when you buy it, and again, it was free, but $6 for shipping and handling. And when you get in, it's like for $10.99 a month, you can get 3 bottles delivered every month to your home. Perfect. It's a great funnel. How could you take a training product or a course and turn it into a monthly fee for residual income? Jessica, very, very good question. Now, some training products already lend themselves to that. The biggest example is university, right? So you go to university, you agree to pay a tuition fee for 3 years or 4 years, whatever it is in your country. So that's like residual fee for them. Sure, I mean, they have teachers in place and everything, but all the teachers are doing is regurgitating the same thing over and over again. So at the biggest model, it works really well. But if you condense that down to what you're doing, there are a few changes you have to make, few exceptions you have to make. What you could do is do 1 new lesson every week, right? That's something you could do. It doesn't have to be long, but it could be something valuable. I mean, it should already be something that you're doing in your business. You could do a live case study with someone, or if not, it doesn't even have to be live, but you could do like a case study, a hot seat program. So I've seen info products being sold in past for like $99 a month. Even, okay, I'll give you an example. Ben Atkins does that with AdLab. Now we know Ben Atkins has a great authority for Facebook ads. I think it was 99, but now it's like $2.99 a month. But here's what he does. The course is already in place. He says it's a course that you will never have to, pay for again, so to speak. You'll continue to pay monthly, but you'll never have to buy another course because we'll keep on updating it. So they keep on updating it. That's their unique selling point. but also once a week they do a live webinar for an hour. And I mean, it's worth $99 a month, right? If you do a lot of ads, it's worth being in that group and looking at what people are doing. So you can go in that direction. But I would say try and offer more. Try and reach out to them via email series. You can set up an autoresponder for 6 months in advance, and that way they're always kind of kept up to date. You can do stuff like that and keep people engaged in your membership. Trust me when I say this, though, if your membership, even training membership, is that good, people will stay. For example, one of the things that we have considered in the past and we might still do is building like a membership portal so that you can just give it to your VAs. So they can learn about lead gen, they can learn about how to use OptimizePress, InstaSuite, ClickFunnels, whatever, these different things. So we can do all that training pre-done and we can make it available. People have to continue paying for it because their VAs will come and go and they will need this training over and over again. So they have a need for this to basically continue to pay this. So again, I mean, it lends into what you're doing. I think it depends mostly on that. All right. Can you do something like this? Ben, can I ask you to, okay, let me just try to open that link. Just give me a second. And if you have questions in the meantime, please do keep them coming, everyone. Let's see. No, Ben, you cannot do that at the moment. So Ben was asking if for physical products you can allow people to pick quantity. Not at the moment, Ben. All right. Any other questions, please let me know. If not, we can do an early wrap-up because, like I said, today was more of a strategy session. I wanted to make sure that you were ready to implement after this, and I hope you were. I'm setting up a membership site where I offer a package deal of a few white label software. I want to offer 47 a month and want it to rise every year. Is it wise? Hendrik, so I think it's wise. I mean, you can even do 2 price points. So you can do 47 a month for, let's say, 3 or 5 software if you have that, and 97 a month for 10. Up to you. But I think it is wise. You will have people canceling out. I mean, depends again on who you're selling it to. So it depends on your target market as well. But yes, you can raise the price, or you can just find ways to increase the audience size that you have. But what I would always recommend doing is that you need to empower people to sign up with you now. So if they sign up now for $47 a month, they don't have to pay the increased price in future. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I know Hendrik is saying in 10 years, 47 will be minimal. It will, Hendrik, but you have to understand that someone's paid you for 10 continuous years. That's quite big trust as well. I mean, this is a customer who's literally spent over, let me think, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000 with you. You got to appreciate that trust, right? So yeah, I mean, same way that if we tomorrow, and we have already raised the price to InstaSuite to, let's say, 67 a month, if eventually we take it to 97 a month, you will continue to pay the price that your grandfather in at. That's just how we see it. So yeah. LF says, I offer high-end business consulting and training starting at $497 per month and $4,000 for a 16-week program. Best way to market and create list, question mark. I would still say LF have a tripwire in place. $497 a month is a lot for a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure you know who your audience is, but if you don't, at least have a lower price product where you give something that helps them get on a call with you, maybe something like that. A former PwC consultant and 2-time best-selling author who also built. That's perfect. LF, that's perfect. So what I would recommend in this case, and tell me if it helps or doesn't help, is building a tripwire like someone else said for physical products, but a low ticket front-end item if you want, or just do it for free, and then get people to book a call with you for a consultation. What's a tripwire that would work? So LF, okay, let me turn that question back on you. You're asking me what tripwire price would work. How many of your audience can afford to pay $497 a month? Let me ask you that. Let's say if you were to do, I don't know, I really don't know, but let's say if you have 10,000 people on your list, how many of them are actually, can afford to pay and want to pay $497 a month? About 49%, that's quite a lot. So yeah, keep the tripwire cost high. if that is the case. Keep the tripwire cost high. I mean, tripwire is typically for making your money back, right? So if you're spending $100 on ads, you want to make the $100 back. So if that means you sell one of your product, that's a tripwire. But remember, tripwire also builds trust. So I don't just use low ticket items to essentially make money, but it's also to build trust. It's also to enable people to believe in you so that eventually they'll pay you $67 a month, or in your case, $497 a month. Because if they can't even buy a $97 product from you, why would they pay $497 a month? So just think about that. Holger, tripwire is basically just a low ticket item on the front end. Or I would say it's a tripwire or a loss leader, I guess, as well, which doesn't make you any money immediately, but it gets someone into your funnel. So it's a loss leader, I would say, because you don't make money on it immediately. If anything, you make loss, but eventually you might make money in the funnel. Cool. Elif, I hope that helps. If not, please let me know. If it doesn't, you can always come and pay me $497 a month, and I can maybe help you personally. All right. Cool. Excellent. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. We'll talk soon. If you need me, you know, I'm always inside the Facebook group. And oh, one more thing, by the way, that we are running a webinar workshop on the 3rd of May, which is in 2 days at 10 a.m. Eastern. I hope the time works for you. But in this case, we'll actually be talking more about email marketing and bringing in a guest. And yes, we'll be making an offer at the end of it as well. Attend if you can. If not, no worries. But we'll be talking about email marketing, mostly how to build a business that you can sustain. So hopefully I'll see you on the 3rd. Alvin, can you drop a link to the webinar registration page if you can for everyone? That'd be great. But I'll see you on the 3rd. And if not, you know, I'm sure I'll catch up inside the Facebook group. But let me see if I can get access to the webinar link quickly before you go away. And you can sign up. Okay, still working at it.
Neil, I already posted it. It's in the chat.
Perfect.
Yeah,
thank you. So yeah, do sign up to that. I think most of you should already be signed up because you're on one of these webinars, but just in case, do sign up there as well. And I'm looking forward to see you there. If you can, that'd be awesome. But have a good rest of the day. Happy Labour Day, 1st of May, May Day, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.